not just for Canadians anymore. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a big food trend in the area of the country that I live, close to here. It originated in Canada, or Quebec. It's called a poutine. What is a poutine? Broken down to its minimal, it is brown gravy over fries with cheese curd, sometimes with meat. Well, we're gonna make one today. We're gonna like it too, if we know what's good for us. So, we gotta go with the fries. We're gonna use one of these, a potato. You can get the stuff from the grocery store in the freezer bag, but you need to know how to use this. And this. So, I'm going to double cook these. The reason why is that the first cooking cooks them through. The second cooking is to crisp them up. So the first step on getting these into fry shape is to cut them. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, all cut up. These have got to go into cold water. Start them off in cold water. Trust me. And we're going to bring these up to a boil, and we'll make our fries. Oh, I got to get salt in there. Salt's always good. Okay, our potatoes have been going for about 10 minutes now. They're just about ready. Good. We're going to give them a couple more minutes. Then we got to strain these. So I'm going to do that off camera at the sink, which is over there. There we go. The next step in the process for these fries is to cool them. We need to cool them completely. So they're going into the refrigerator, probably about 15-20 minutes. Now we need to talk about, well, the gravy. Last night, I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit. I'm not going to show you what I did, but last night I cooked off some beef back ribs. I seared them off, threw them in my crock pot with some onion, some garlic, a couple of ancho chilies, and just cooked them till they were done. This took about six hours. I also saved the braising liquid, which is what we're going to use for our gravy. But before we do that, we need to make a roux. A roux is very simple. Equal part fat to flour. But I'm not going to go measure this out. I'm going to eyeball it, and I'll show you what I'm doing while I'm doing it. So I got about 2 tablespoons of butter, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I'm good with that. Like I said, cooking sometimes is just doing what looks right, not necessarily what is technically correct. Now we want this to completely melt. It's going to foam up a little bit. We want to get rid of all that foam in there. The foam is, well, water and milk solids. So if we throw in our flour, which I have here, it's not going to turn out right. what'll happen is the water will combine with the flour and turn into dreaded roux balls. We don't like roux balls. Roux balls are nasty. So I'm just going to slowly melt this butter. Now it's time to start putting our flour in. I'm going to add the flour in just little installments until I get to the right consistency. And then I'm going to throw it around on the kitchen counter. And what I'm looking for is a consistency of wet sand, but I want it a little bit looser than that. So I think you can take a little bit more flour. Not too much, just go a little at a time. The big thing with roux is you have to cook it. What we're doing here is we are, well, cooking the flour itself, or frying the flour. And what that does is it takes away all that cereal flavor that you get. And we also want a little bit of color. Okay, what I look for in whether I've got enough flour or not, is you see how when I stir it, it kind of clumps up, but then as soon as I'm done stirring, it starts to spread out and cover the bottom of the pan like this. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, I've got kind of a peanut colored or peanut butter colored roux. That's about as far as I want to take it. So we'll set that off to the side. So one of the things I also did is I saved the braising liquid. I've got about 2 cups here, and we're just going to warm that up slowly. And while we're doing that, I'm going to take the meat off the bones here. So I took these. You want to, clean out all the gristle and stuff like that too. So I cooked these off last night. Like I said, and then I pulled them out. I strained off all the onions and garlic and chilies and stuff like that out of there. And now I just set it on a pan here, wrapped it up, and put it in the refrigerator. It's solidified up really nice. So it's also easier to work with this way. Okay, our fries have cooled. Time to get them in the fryer. I've got a brand new toy, an air fryer. So what I like to do with these is I like to give them a spray, a little bit of olive oil spray, just enough to help crisp up the outside. I'm going to do this over the sink so I don't make too much of a mess. Now these are going in the air fryer for 10 minutes. At 400 degrees. If you don't have an air fryer, just go ahead and throw them on a sheet pan and put them in the oven about 400 degrees. And then turn them every 5-10 minutes until they're done. Okay? While that's going on, we're going to work on our sauce. We got it up to a boil. I'm going to start slowly adding the roux in. There we go. Nice thickness. Got a little more roux, might as well throw it in there. Turn it down to a simmer. And we'll give this a taste. Ah, delicious. Could use a little bit more. A little bit more. So we'll add in some of our meat. And I like some rosemary. When it comes to rosemary, it's one of the few spices that I will not use dried. Dried rosemary turns into little mini toothpicks that, well, they get under the teeth, get under the fillings and stuff like that. Almost impossible to chew. So fresh is about a tablespoon. We'll let that simmer, but I'm also going to throw in a little black pepper. Salt was a little bit light, but I'm okay with that because I'm going to season those fries when they come out. That'll make up for it. Final ingredient, cheese curds. Cheese curds are, well, in the cheese making process, you start off warming the milk, then you add stuff. Specifically, you put in a stabilizer, you put in rennet, and then it will curdle. What it's then done is they cut it, and they put it in forms, weigh it down, or whatever they need to do, and age it. This is after they cut it, and before the aging and forming, or the forming and the aging, whichever way you want to do it. So, one of the things that has been said is that cheese curd is outlawed in the US. Yes and no. It is outlawed if it is made with raw milk. The FDA feels that milk that is, or raw milk that's not aged in a cheese for 60 days is hazardous. So I'm okay here. This was made with pasteurized milk. Okay, we got our fries done. Stack them up on the plate. Now it's time to add the last ingredient into our gravy, the cheese curds. Doesn't take long to cook these cheese curds. You just want to kind of warm them through. Here we go. All we need is a little salad. Salad would make it perfect. Perfect. So, I'm Chef Terry. This is a poutine. And it's also really good. Grab yourself a beer, chow down. I'll see you next time.